All right, friends, this is a different one for us, but I think an important one. So what you're going to need today is the normal stuff plus something to make a circle. I want you to trace a circle onto your paper. We're going to start there. Here's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about using linear detail. You hear me speak about it often. It's something I use in pretty much every painting I do. But how do I make the decisions that I make when I'm adding linear detail? Like, let's look at last month's video where I added these fine lines. I talked about it a little bit here, closer together, thicker lines, make a shadow, and so on and so forth. I just want to dive into it a little further because I think, number one, doing some of these exercises that I'm about to share with you are going to really build up some beautiful, beautiful muscle memory. Number two, you're going to better understand when and how to add this kind of detailing, all right? And there's just so many other reasons. So what I want you to try is to add a beautiful line right along the edge of one of your traced circles. Let's start. I'm going to hold my brush right about here. I'm going to be using that point first, pressing, curving as I go, and trying to move pretty quickly and then lift and stay along that edge. I want to go right next to it. Use a different color if you want. Make it fun. And press and curve and kind of end it a little sooner than that previous stroke. Use another color. Start a little further down, press, and then again, end it a little sooner. I'm going to grab another color. Same thing, you get the drill. Little too much color there. It's okay. Start a little further down, press, drag, and then lift. All right, we're going to keep that going with colors, and I want you to see you're creating volume in this circle with these lines that you're adding. Do you see? And I'm going to stay with this color. Little bit of separation. I'm starting to curve up along the other edge of that circle. Do you see how you're creating volume? Okay, and we're just going to, for those that this is going to drive nuts, we're just going to kind of fill that in. It's okay. It's all good. Kind of is driving me nuts too. But do you see how you created volume there? Okay. Let's do this one down here. And notice, friends, I am using a messed up piece of paper. This is time to use the backshear papers, the papers that have splotches on them. Get to it. Okay, we're going to go with this one a little differently. I want you to start in the middle, and I want you to press and wiggle, and then press and wiggle down. Okay, looks a little weird. Choose another color. Press, curve. Press, curve. Another color, or don't change your colors. Press, curve. Press, curve on either side. Again, look at what we're doing. We're creating volume by adding lines, okay? You can go even further into that middle one if you want. We're creating volume by following the silhouette of the circle. Now, what if it's not a circle? What if it's a petal? So I'm going to sketch a petal, right? Petal, a leaf, whatever it may be. Now we're going to go a little smaller on the brush, obviously. Let's say maybe you want to accentuate a little curve. Press, drag it. Let it run out, let it get smaller. But I'm still using that same concept, right? But on a different shape. Let's go ahead with a little more of a traditional color. Let's say I want to, let's just do the normal vein down the middle, right? But maybe it's darker. Maybe there's a deep shadow right about here. Go in, press harder there, wiggle it a little, and then lift up, right? Bring some of those veins out, following the curve. Find that natural curve. Maybe there's more of a shadow in the middle here. Put those lines closer together, a little thicker, a lot thicker actually. And then thin them out, and you're creating a sense of depth. Kind of make that a little more gradual there. Hopefully, friends, that makes sense. And that gives you an idea of one of the ways I'm making these decisions. All right, let's switch up brushes. Same idea. I want you to play with these linear details, how thin and how thick you can make these lines with one brush. So we're going to go down the surface of the paper. Color does not matter here, friends. Press, lift, and just get that serpentine shape going. I want you to make the lines really close here, but don't let them touch. I let them touch. All right. Go along parts of it, parts of that serpentine, and accentuate parts. And see what that looks like. Imagine how these lines are coming together. Imagine them being inside a leaf. Imagine them being a hillside that you're accentuating in a landscape painting. I did not clean my brush, and it's a good thing. Look what's happening there. Just start to play around with adding these lines using different levels of water, different lengths of stroke, different pressure from your brush to your paper. Heck, let's get into a different brush here. Let's get into the filbert and see what starts to happen. I'm just using up the paint that's already on my palette. It's not going to be pretty. Nice thick line, right? Let's get a thin one. Same brush. I'm holding this brush way far down on the ferrule. This is speaking mountains to me like crazy. Water. All right, so just another way. You're sculpting the flat surface of the paper is essentially what you're doing. Let's change direction. Now, usually when you use linear detail, you're going to have beautiful washes underneath that have dried or at least are damp, right? Right now, we don't have that, so these look extremely abstract, right? But I think you get the idea of how I'm using these linear details and how they are very quickly, I might add, transforming the look of just a flat surface of paper. I'm doing an upstroke here. This is still linear detail. This is still using a line to create, or a conglomeration of lines to create form. Once you start to see the way that line and a collection of lines can transform the shading of a piece, the texture of a piece, you can't unsee it. And you can get lost in it, deliciously lost in it. So I would highly recommend a page of circles, different size circles, and get some of this action on. And imagine what that page would look like when it was done. It would actually be a work of art, not just an exercise. And go ahead and do yourself a couple of pages like this. And if you're feeling real good about life, go in after and get some pencil in there too. And continue to mess around with how you could create form and shadow with mixed media with that graphite on top, right? Really fun. All right, I'm going to go ahead to the prototype. I've been using this for a while now of a travel brush I'm working on, and it's a #1 cat's tongue with a much more pronounced point. Use whatever cat's tongue you have or a dagger. And here is another little idea I want to plant in your head, and I'm using darker colors by design. I want you to think about a single stroke and how that stroke can change without you leaving the paper. Okay, let's do another one of those. Dark colors here just so you can see. Don't lift from the paper. Change your speed, change your motion, change your pressure. Okay, filling a page like this can teach you so much about what one brush and your hand, I released from the paper a little bit there, but it's okay, can do. And then you can go in and try to repeat some of what your hand did on a second stroke on parts. Maybe you make it a little thinner. Maybe you only repeat parts of it. Look at that. See what I'm starting to do here? And look, I'm starting to see craggy rocks. I'm starting to see a lot of stuff in what I'm creating here. All right. I'm going to try to recreate that. Holding my brush a different way. I think you are about to have a world of wonder opened up to you if you follow along, play around with these couple of exercises. Not to mention, you're going to have some really cool art when you're all said and done. Just repeating that big line, lots of pressure there. And then think about how these type of movements, these type of strokes, this type of pressure, this type of amount of color versus water on your brush can translate into real artwork. All right, there we go, friends. Line work, line quality. You're also gonna see it referred to as, you can look up line quality, read about it, see what others are saying about it. But this is kind of a beginning to my approach to try to quantify how I make line linear detail decisions. Remember, fill a page with circles and do some of this stuff. All right? Get that muscle memory going. Fill a page with one continuous stroke and then trying to repeat that stroke with different colors. And then go ahead and fill a page like this. And you will be changed, I think, forever. You will be a line quality linear detail convert. All right, friends, you've got a lot of happy painting ahead of you. Can't wait to hear about it.